Right, raise your glasses. We're now recording. This is the second Winchester Creatives first Friday of the month social gathering. 3 of us are drinking. Everyone else is on water. It's been the cheapest round ever. Cheers, everyone.
Hi, cheers. Are we still allowed to swear?
Crikey, I mean, I'm honest. I mean, I said try to keep it clean. I asked Alexander Frey, our video content editor, to say, can you just take some of the swearing out of Sam Connor's thing? I think there was like sort of 45, 50 references of swear words. So he's got this blooper reel of all these sort of swear words. And it was like, and do you know what was hilarious about it? We sent an email to all the people who kindly sponsored our crowdfunder to say, get involved. My father-in-law turned up to listen to this guy effing and blinding. And I was like, oh, how embarrassing. It was awesome though.
Yeah, it was really good.
But for Kane's benefit, can somebody explain what it was about, just summarize it for him? Anyone?
Not me or Richard.
I'm good.
It's about how to be a pirate and how like that applies to businesses. I only caught half of it because I was on radio, but like that was basically what it was about.
It was like trying to like be more pirate, so like break all the kind of traditional rules and just kind of go for it and not care what anyone else thinks and just break down all the boundaries and just
I mean, just think out of the box sometimes and not just follow the guidelines every time. Do something out of the ordinary which other people are scared to do. So and once you achieve, after completing those tasks which you have done out of the blue, it does feel, you have achieved something after. I mean, it does feel kind of, after you achieve something or have, if you have created something that is pretty good. So you should go, out of the standard basic practices that everyone follows to achieve.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Kane, he's written an international bestseller book called Be More Pirate, and he kindly gave us a free copy, and he gave a free copy of his audiobook. And in fact, guys, listen, it is in fact the Be More Pirate Spotify list in the background. So Kane, what I'll do is I'll follow up over the weekend. I'll drop you an email.
Yeah, send it over whenever.
Free resources, but yeah, he uses pirate language, put it that way. Before we put the video out, we've had to put like a skull and crossbones over his mouth every time he says a swear word. It's hilarious.
He did this. He was saying about how he did this really cool thing when he first had his book published by Penguin, Random House, and he went for a meeting with them at the publishers and said, oh, what's the marketing budget for the book? And they said, nothing. There's no marketing budget. And he was like, oh, great. Well, that's terrible. So he went away and costed up the price of like a huge panel, like a big poster. And then he stuck it on the front of Penguin's headquarters in London. So all of the traffic going past it would see it. And then had a terrible phone call from the chief exec saying, what the hell have you done? Come and take it down, but with a lot more swearing. And went home and was like, I had that moment of doubt that most people have when you've done something semi-stupid, but you may think it's a good idea. But then later that afternoon, it was picked up by Richard Branson, who tweeted about it. And obviously the sales exploded and stuff like that. And so obviously it totally paid off. It was such an amazing story of
that's cool.
Absolutely just doing something stupid and ballsy, but absolutely paying off. It was really, really
cool.
inspiring. I loved it.
So what does he do then? Apart from write books?
He used to run an agency. Sorry, Richard. He used to run an agency which deal with a lot of big brands, but he would only really hire staff that were graduates and things like that. And then he kind of stepped away from that. I think he became the chairman, let that kind of run itself, and then wrote this book about how you you know, to succeed in business, you just need to break every rule. It's a fascinating book, absolutely.
So when I listened back again, I mean, he was very humble about the agency part of his career. I mean, he started up as a nightclub owner, but he created 2 or 3 businesses. One of them called Don't Panic, which was BAFTA nominated, did a load of advertising. He was one of the first people to create an ethical sort of agency to do ethical communications and advertising for brands. And he then set up this thing called Liberty. And Liberty had a mantra, and this is miles before Black Lives Matter. I mean, he had a mission to basically harness the potential of young creativity and particularly to encourage BAME, diverse backgrounds involved in trying to change creativity for good. So Liberty just grew and scaled, and it did work for I think it was Airbnb, sort of Xbox, Red Bull, like proper amazing campaigns. But he got to a point where he kind of you could tell if you work with him in the business all the time, it would drive you nuts, because he's one of those chase every idea. And I think it got to a point where he scaled it. He sold his equity share, went to chairmanship, and then he talked about his next thing, where this is an Amazon best-selling book called Be More Pirate, where he's kind of now, he's an international speaker. I mean, he is one of the most inspirational speakers in the UK right now, who books out, I don't know if you know the Lisbon Web Summit. These are big, massive events with global audiences. He's one of those keynote speakers who does it, and I wrote him an email when we started out. I said, look, we're doing Winchester Creatives. We're doing an inaugural event. I think it would be brilliant to be the key speaker. I thought there was no way. There's absolutely no way he was going to turn up. And he did us the huge honor. I mean, it was, the way I can describe it is it's like Ronaldo or Messi who turning up to the Winchester under 25s informal football team first meeting to give them an inspirational talk. It was like, I was so chuffed that he said yes, and then I was so freaked out he was going to blow my laptop with all his pyrotechnics of his presentation. But yeah, it was a great way to start the event, the event series.
Before we change the subject, I've got to say though, I mean, Richard name dropped Benedict Cumberbatch the other night, but Amber saying, oh yeah, I only managed to catch half of it because I was on the radio. That was also a pretty decent brag. That was amazing.
Does everyone know about Amber's Winchester radio stuff?
No?
Come on, Amber, share.
Okay. So I pestered the local hospital radio at Winchester. I was like, let me join from the age of 14. And I had to wait until I was 18 because they were like, you're not old enough until you're 18 to actually join. But I kept pestering them, and then they invited me when I turned 18 to join them, and they were switching to a community radio. And then 6 months in, they were just like, oh, by the way, do you want to present a show? And I was just like, okay, I'll try it. And then that turned into 2 shows, and now it's 3 shows. And yeah.
Congrats.
So cool.
Amber's got a super exciting career ahead of her. She's going to be fronting BBC One radio programs. Let's put it in context. And when we first met Amber, we thought she's just it was just lovely. She had a lovely vibe, lovely energy, and then she sort of dropped in this thing that she sort of while I was waiting for the radio, I decided to get involved in a TikTok. Amber has 9,000 followers on TikTok, right? She does this thing on touch typing. She's like a superstar on TikTok, and it was all because she thought, I'll give it a go. It's like, oh my God, not only are you creating this amazing broadcasting experience with radio, you're like an internet sensation.
I think TikTok's probably a really huge growth platform for 2021, isn't it?
Harsh, Dan.
Yeah, it's you get nothing and then you get everything. Like it goes like super mega viral, because like there'll be like, you'll get like 30 views and then someone will go, oh, I like that, and send it to a friend, and they'll send it like 6 friends, and it like blows up and you're just like, what? Because I went from like 10 followers to 1,000 followers overnight, and I was just like, I genuinely can't comprehend how this has happened. And then it just kept growing, and I was just like, somebody make it stop. Yeah.
Yours is a very like niche subject matter that you're doing. I mean, do you feel like you're going to reach like a peak anytime soon, or are you still like amassing followers at a decent rate?
So we reached peak in December, and then I've lost 90 in a month, but I still get like 5 new followers a day. So we're still descending, but we're still getting new people at the same times. TikTok is a crazy platform, because you're like releasing videos, and then videos you've made 2 months ago go viral, and you're just like, oh right, cool, why that one? But yeah, that's sort of how TikTok works. You're like, oh yeah, this will do really well, and then it doesn't do well, and you're just like, how? Okay, sure. But then you'll release something you did like in 2 minutes, and everybody will like, I love this. Just that is TikTok.
That's amazing.
Do we have a Winchester Creatives TikTok channel?
I don't think
No.
so.
Maybe we should have one.
If you can get 1,000, I mean, I've got a good friend who, she has her dog called Charlie. He's like a sausage dog. He's got 4,500 followers, like on TikTok, and there's just photos of him lying in front of fires collecting sticks, and he's a bigger internet sensation because he's a dog. So why shouldn't Winchester Creatives be on TikTok?
I guess the first step.
Creatives dog.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The first step is getting a dog.
Richard, you're up.
Send me a stick, I'll go chase it.
Guys, I'm gonna need to jump off because this was my half-hour break time, but I wanted to have some time just to say hi and meet everyone. All right.
Thanks for spending your lunch break with us.
See you later.
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
She was on board with us. Hey, Ari, come and join us at future events. It's so lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's lovely. I'll talk to you guys later, and stay safe.
Bye.
Okay?
Bye.
Bye.
How has everyone else's start of the year been? Ella, what have you been up to?
It's been a pretty slow start. Just kind of getting back into the swing of things, trying to find new opportunities that I can keep working on, because I find it's very like, it's all or nothing. It really up and down. So just trying to figure out how I can kind of not have like a day where I'm doing nothing and then a day where like I'm blocked out until like 7 p.m. So yeah, it's average.
Yeah, that's cool. It's good to be busy instead of bored though, isn't it? I bet the days where you're blocked out till 7 p.m. you're probably exhausted, but then you're like, wow, actually that was a great day. It's much better than just sitting on the sofa, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like today I've pretty much had nothing to do, and unless like coming to something like this, and then I was like, I just really want to do this because then I'll have something, at least I can tick something off of my list. And then on Sunday I'm up at 7 a.m. to start teaching. So I'm like, why on a Friday do I have nothing, and then a Sunday I'm up so early? So yeah.
What do you teach?
I'm teaching English at the moment. So I got my TEFL qualification in October, and then just doing private tutoring, and then I also teach classes for Malaysian students, just as like a little bit of extra income, as well as kind of just improving communication skills and things like that. So yeah, it's a really, I think I wish I'd done it sooner. Definitely, I wish I started doing it during uni, because it's just something I like doing. Yeah.
Well, good
How did you go about doing that?
I don't really know. Like, I just kind of searched TEFL on the internet, and then they had like a discount on the course, and so I did.
So it's TEFL. TEFL, sorry, what you go through.
The English test. Yeah.
It's the teaching English as a foreign language kind of like platform. Because once I graduated, I was kind of like, oh, maybe I should just like bin off my whole degree and become a teacher. And then everyone was kind of like, maybe don't jump straight into that. So this was kind of like a good medium ground for me to like have that experience, but not commit fully to doing it and like discard everything else I've ever done. So yeah.
What was your degree in?
Marketing and communications for fashion. So it was a really niche degree. I went to a really small uni. It was a 2-year degree, so it was kind of like a really unique experience. It had its advantages and disadvantages, definitely. So yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't the traditional uni experience at all. But that's kind of why I chose it, because I knew that that's not something that I really like cared for massively. I just kind of wanted my degree, and then I wanted the real life experience. So I enjoyed it whilst I was doing it, but I feel like because a lot of the course was based off of, you get this real life experience, we're going to put you on 2 industry placements, this massive mentor program, and then COVID hit and they were like, nothing to do with us, we never said that, like we can't give you anything that we ever promised. So it was kind of a bit of a downer there, but that's why things like this and finding other opportunities was kind of something that I really had to start working on, like come lockdown. But yeah, it was good.
Cool.
That's really rubbishy, isn't it? I bet they still took the money though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Me and Dan are getting quite cynical about universities right now, actually, to be honest.
No, most people I've spoken to are going, university is not the way to go. But I mean, my brother's 16, and I'm saying to him, like, if you want to get your degree, a degree apprenticeship is something that I would like much more like recommend than a traditional degree, because just I think the practical experience is so much more valuable.
Yeah, I think degree apprenticeships are really something that like the government needs to look into, because at the moment they're all in like engineering or computer science, and I'm just like, that's not something that I'm interested in. And like, if I wanted to do a degree, I would do a degree apprenticeship, but they're in such like STEM subjects that like it sort of dissuades anybody from actually doing one.
Yeah, I think they'll become a lot more popular in years to come.
Business, I think. I mean, especially universities. I mean, the government and the university all are public universities here, I guess. So the money, I guess, that they get from students, and specifically from international students, is a lot. So which I think kind of keeps them going, and I don't know. So I wrote a letter to the university because all classes are online. And then I wrote that what I'm paying the fees for. I could have done the same course from India. I wouldn't have to come here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of students are getting very frustrated at the moment, aren't they? I'm seeing a lot of things on Instagram and Facebook all about just like how they feel so kind of let down by the whole system, which is completely understandable.
Yeah, I mean, these are quite tough times, and especially for students who are living all by themselves, and they can't go anywhere, they don't know anyone here, so it's kind of tough. And plus doing the assignments, I mean for many things you have to collaborate and you talk to people, socialize, but you can't do that right now, so it makes the whole task a bit difficult.
So if anyone doesn't know, Rishabh is just this really amazingly talented motion graphics animator who is specialized and got some really exciting expertise in online training platforms. So creating content for training opportunities. And he's a wonderful bloke, a good sense of humor. Rishabh joined us for our last social gathering, and it was great fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were 4 of us. Henna, I guess, and one more. I forgot her name.
Lucy McLaughlin, she was a mentee.
Yes.
But if any of you guys, so Nathan, if you hear on the grapevine with Gibson or Gilroy, if you have any motion graphic requirements or try to create some animation, hit Rishabh up for it. He's got some skills, and
definitely.
By the way, his portfolio is on the Mighty networks, on the community networks. Nathan, have you managed to upload yours yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's good. Kane's done it. Hannah's
Let
done
me
it.
check now.
Actually,
Could
I just
be.
made my website also a week back. I will share it with you. I mean, all of you. I mean, I just made my website, which kind of, you know, I have updated all the work. And yeah, I mean, if you want to see, I will send a link. Oh, Hazel.
Hazel Terry's in the house. Been giving a piece of cheese.
She's still connecting the audio.
Was that cheese you were handed, Hazel?
It was quite unnaturally, but it was cheese. Hi guys, how's it going?
Hi.
No.
All good, all good. It's lovely to see you, Hazel. How's your week been?
Hectic, really, really hectic. I just thought, you know what, it's Friday night. But it's been good. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I think that's probably a fair assumption. How's everyone else doing?
Yeah, really good.
Good, thank you.
Your Christmas tree's gone, Hazel.
You know, it's so sad, isn't it?
I know. Ours went last night as well.
Really. I tried convincing Ben that it could be an Easter tree, but he was having none. He basically gave it to the man in the street to put through the shredder, so that was that.
My wife took down all our Christmas decorations on Monday, and then Boris Johnson locked their whole country down at 8:05. And I just thought the following morning when we woke up to homeschooling 3 children, it was like, what do? We need to have the Christmas decorations up all year round because it looks so bare. It looks so boring.
I'm all for that. I'm wondering how long it takes until it goes back to normal, that it feels like, you know, the lounge is how the lounge is the rest of the year, you know?
I don't know. I mean, here the cases are surprisingly rising. I don't know what was the number yesterday. I think it was 60 or 70,000, and going by the population, I think it's 60 million or something. 600. So yeah, that is a lot. I mean, and consequently, in the subcontinent, the cases have fallen. I mean, there aren't many cases coming up, even though everything is same. I mean, people are still not wearing masks and still the same, but the cases are not rising as compared to Europe and UK, which is contrastingly different. I don't know why, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's a very perilous situation we're in at the moment. So I just heard today that there are no beds available in Southampton hospital, and only some beds available in Winchester. So please, to everyone, just if you're going to go out running or do some exercise, don't fall on the ice, don't cut your finger, don't hit your head, don't, just for 2 months, don't have any accidents. Because yeah, the NHS is under real strain at the moment. So stay home and do what Hannah did, which is to watch Bridgerton back to back. That's Ella. That's what you didn't do today. You need to Netflix and binge.
I know. I should have done. My mum keeps putting it on in the background, and I never pay attention. And then halfway through the episode, I'm like, "Oh, it's actually quite interesting. Maybe I should watch it." But I haven't fully committed yet. I need to fully commit to Bridgerton.
Has anyone seen Ozark?
Yeah, that's a great show.
I've just finished season 2. It's really good.
Yeah,
proper into it.
Everyone's told me Ozark is good.
Ozark.
Yeah.
It's about money It's about a money launderer.
Oh, like Money Heist. Something. No, that is.
Money Heist.
It's a little bit like
Lockdown 1, Money Heist was. I was just obsessed. My dad got me the T-shirt and everything.
Have any of you seen The Queen's Gambit?
Yeah.
I've just started that as well. Yeah.
Really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
We absolutely back to that. It was amazing.
These are all on like my to watch list, and I've just not got around to watching anything because I've been too busy.
Yeah, Amber, you're too busy being an internet sensation with your followers on TikTok. We're the ones that basically are kind of vegging out on Netflix to try and forget the stuff that's going outside the door. You're actually getting stuff done.
I was cricket in my pastime. I mean, I don't know how many of you do. It's not very popular here.
What's that?
Cricket.
Cricket. Oh.
I love cricket.
Oh, okay.
Great job. I love cricket. Come and join our Winchester cricket team. It's called the Racketeers.
I would love to.
We're doing winter next. When
I bowl right arm, medium pace.
my hero is Tendulkar. Is my hero.
Oh, something that I found out the other day is cricket is the third most popular sport in the entire world, and I was just like,
yes,
that kind of makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. It should be the #1 sport. I mean, forget this football. Whatever's number 2 is.
I think it's the number 2. I don't know. It comes out of football, and much of it because of the subcontinent population. Because I mean, it boils down to subcontinent population, because I think 9 out of 10 people love cricket there.
It's huge. I did some work with the English Cricket Board, and the stuff that they do in terms of getting kids involved and getting other kind of countries involved and everything. There's so much that goes on in terms of the kind of social aspect of it, as well as just the game too. I think listening to the whole game is probably a little bit much for me, but all of the blokes in our family are very into it, so I can.
What do you mean, so Hazel, about that? Because I'm confused by that. Because why wouldn't you want to watch a game that has 3 series of 5 days tests that you can get to the end of 5 days of watching a game and nobody wins and it's a draw, and then you do it again for another 5 days and nobody wins in a draw? So it means that you could play cricket for like 30 days and still no one wins. Why wouldn't you want to watch that game? It's so riveting.
It's probably not worth getting into. It looks like Dan's into it though. He looks
Oh
like
my God.
30 days with no result.
To be honest, if I get to go and drink beer in the sun, you can do anything really in the field in front of me and I'm happy. So within reason, I guess.
So I grew up on some of those Rocky movies where I thought the kind of Cold War was always about, Rocky playing some massive Russian boxer and they'd fight it all out. And it was basically nuclear Armageddon, but in a boxing ring, until I experienced a World Cup match between India and Pakistan. And I have never, ever seen animosity quite like that. Those 2 teams, I mean, they literally... it's life or death when it comes to cricket. Wouldn't you agree, Rishabh?
Yeah, it is. That's why we don't play now.
well, peace. There should be no India-Pakistan game ever.
Yeah, there's too much political interference, so we don't play now.
That sounds, sounds like England, France, or England, Wales in the rugby. So I'm more of a rugby girl, and we went and watched the France, England in the Six Nations. And I have never seen sportsmanship like it.
Well, hang on, the autumn internationals, the ones in
not this year, a couple of years ago. Okay. But it was we were in the stands in the Stade France, and when the French are kind of taking a kick, it's silence across the whole stadium. And the English are going, and there's kazoos and shouting and stamping and booing. It was it was nuts. Really, we were sort of almost glad that the French won in the end.
I think that some sorts of rivalries all around the world, like Australia, New Zealand, England, USA, maybe. So I mean, India, Pakistan. So I mean, they all have some different flavors. I mean, subcontinent people are a bit emotional, but I would say too emotional. So they don't take the game as a game. So they kind of involve themselves more than just a game, and then kind of leads to, so if we lose from Pakistan, so you can't think of the players that what they go through after losing a game to Pakistan.
I'm sorry guys, I've got to go and do bedtime duties. I'm sorry, but have a great evening.
Hang on, you can't go. We can't go yet. We have to do our obligatory photo where we raise a glass.
I'm not trying to stop anyone else.
Okay, no. But Rishabh, you remember this one? We take a photograph that makes everyone realise that they missed a great laugh, and we kind of raise and go like, "Whoa!" And then they were like, "Oh, I missed a great party," right?
I have a bottle, so I don't have a glass.
Okay, but we can pretend whatever it is. But get your glasses ready to cheer. Okay, are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Screen grab away. All right, Dan. Bedtime now.
Okay, right. See you later, everyone. Have a really nice evening. Lovely to see you guys.
Bye. So Hazel, if you haven't worked it out, Kane has joined us as our mentoring program. He bumped into me on 23rd or 24th, Christmas Eve, and he made the mistake of saying, "Oh, I know Winchester Creatives," because I was wearing the face mask. And then suddenly he's now part of what we're doing. So
He grabbed me.
There's nowhere for
Brought
him
me
to
in.
Awesome.
So, and Hazel has been helping us with the mentoring, coordination, and just doing the setup stuff.
Okay.
So she's been helping kind of coordinate things, but moving forward, we'll be doing a bit more of that ourselves, and she's going to help us do some more educational stuff on our community platform. But yeah, Kane, meet Hazel. Hazel, meet me.
Oh.
Really?
What was that, sorry?
Okay, what else do we need to watch on Netflix then?
One of the things that I've watched sort of semi part the way through is The Circle USA. It's based on the Channel 4 series The Circle. It's basically a reality show where instead of meeting each other, they're all on social media. You can see like where I am. Social media, yay! But they're sort of, you can pretend to be someone else, or you can be yourself, and they only interact over this platform that they call The Circle. It's a great reality show that I was just like, I had the idea, and then 6 months later it appeared on Channel 4, and I was just like, oh yeah, it was a good idea. And
did you see the first season of the UK one? That was good. That was really good. When I can't remember, the guy that pretended to be his girlfriend. He was amazing.
He won, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And that Richard from Richard and Judy came in, didn't he?
That was the second season, I think. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh.
But I remember at the end of the first season when like they all had to meet, and the guy who was like best mates with this girl, and like his face was like, "Are you Freddie?" And then like it's not him. Like, oh, it's so good. I'd highly recommend it as well.
Watch that then. So look, I'm going to make some connections here, right? Ella has just rebranded her amazing agency name, and for the life of me, I've forgotten the name. Tell us again.
It's Solsiki, which is sunflower in Danish.
But it's got some amazing value proposition and support. Tell us more about that.
It's so I started it as it was like kind of just my creative Instagram profile where I did like drawings and stuff, and then I wanted to kind of make it more product based just so I could get a bit of income from it, and then it kind of just snowballed over like the Christmas period. Obviously people were buying loads, and so come Christmas I was kind of like, I want it to have a bit more longevity to it, be a bit more commercial and less personal to me, so I rebranded it. And then I also at the same time was kind of thinking, how can like this be different? How can this like stand for what I stand for still, but also like be different? Because it's a lot of the products are very trend based, so it's kind of candles, a lot of things that you might just see like trending, and I was like, there's so many people doing this, but how can I make like mine different? So I kind of just put in the values that I think are the most important, and it was kind of like just following Maslow's hierarchy, and that's kind of how I determined what I wanted to do. So we make kind of monthly contributions to different charities that align with each level of the hierarchy, and then the top one is like our products, and that's like how we think we can kind of help people like reach their full potential is by like investing in our products, because we then like filter that down and invest in all these other initiatives. So yeah, it's kind of rebranded. It's all kind of like positivity, gratitude, appreciation inspired. So there's no big kind of like this. I don't charge loads. Like some of the products that I sell, people will sell for like triple the price, but I don't charge that much because it's not like, in the grand scheme of things, it's not worth that much. Like they're only doing that for pure profit. So I think it's better to kind of sell something at a lower price that people can still get joy from, but also actually has a positive impact in the long run to loads of other things. So yeah, that's kind of it.
So do you have a link?
That sounds great. Yeah, have you got a link there?
Yeah, I can put it. I'll put it on the network thing, and I'll kind of just link you through to my Instagram, which because I rebranded, so it's like very at the start of things now on the Instagram. It's kind of gone back to where it was, and like there'll be more coming out to kind of like announce what we're doing and everything.
Awesome. Look, Amber is going to be developing her own personal website sometime soon. So quick question to you, Ella. What did you build it in? Is it a Wix spare space or is it a custom WordPress?
So I sell my products through Etsy, and then I have a website on Wix, which I was kind of originally going to start selling through there, but I was kind of like, I don't have the customer base to be able to like bring people to the website, nor do I have the SEO skills, which is good because I'm now doing a course on it. But yeah, so I kind of, Etsy is my main thing, and then I want to develop the website once I have more skills and kind of can put more like money into that as well. I want to make it like a good website, not just kind of like a pulled together Wix thing. So I don't really have any advice on that yet. Get back to me in a couple of months and I might be able to help.
So guys, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, you've got to look at Kane's portfolio, right? So, you know, if you are wanting to see how to do case studies, look at his accelerate and what is it? Innovately or Invently? Invently, yeah. Beautiful, concise storytelling. Awesome. Check his portfolio out. It's great work.
Yeah, do send the link.
It's on the platform, Richard.
Okay.
I was wondering if anybody knew this, but the Mighty Networks is an app. Which I've been using. It's great because it's all on my phone, and I use my phone a lot. So yeah, I've been
social
using
media.
the Mighty
Do you use
Networks
it
app.
Yeah. What social? You use social media, don't you? Yeah. So listen, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So Mighty Networks, I would download the Mighty Networks app to your mobile phone. I'd make it your home screen, and the way I prefer using the desktop because I just have it as a tab open and things like that because I've got a dual screen. But I use the mobile app just to remind me when there's an alert and there's if I need to just check in. But at the moment, I think it's because we're all lurking and get used to it. We're kind of just doing a kind of liking comment and we're being a bit passive. But we've invested in the platform for the year. We've got lots more planned. So please, I mean, it's a space for us. So if there's anything you want to share and you kind of like found a really kooky video or really interesting, inspiring campaign, or you want to ask a question, or like Ella did, it was perfect. She mentioned Range, the book. By the way, Ella, you're going to start running our book club.
I would love to. I love books.
Who's up for reading Range and in a month's time having a conversation about it? I'm in. Okay, Anna's in. Right, 3 of us are going to start doing this. Okay. Ella, I tell you what, I'll take this offline with you. We'll get a Zoom meeting in, and even if it starts with 3, we'll read this book. Or if anyone hasn't noticed, does anyone know what Blinkist is?
No.
Is basically it summarizes a book in 15 minutes,
Gotcha.
all points.
The cheat sheet.
That's a cheat sheet. But no, I'm up for doing book clubs. So if anyone, I haven't read the book, I'll read the book, and then Ella will chair a meeting for us, and then we can have a discussion about whether we think it's good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah, sounds good.
On Blinklist, has anyone used it? Is it actually as good as it sounds to compare the Blinklist version compared to the actual book itself?
We can do that in our book review. We can compare the actual book to the Blinkist book.
Yeah,
I write our own.
I signed up for it, but the problem is quite a lot of books are still not on Blinkist. So the books that I was trying to praise it wasn't there. It was a bit like, oh, I've got to read the book now.
I attended a talk a while back from the CEOs and founders of Blinkist. It started off as a summarizer of podcasts, which is why they literally like October-ish time, they only got into books. So they are working on the platform with the books, but yeah, they've mainly done podcasts up till then.
So because Amber's mentioned it, can I? Because I know that people might go through things. Could you just is it all right if I just do 5-minute drive through Mighty Networks so you can see how to use it? Would that be helpful for you guys? Or is that going to kill the vibe?
No, it'd be helpful.
That'd be
Give
good.
me 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes, because I'm just conscious that I think we're all still getting used to the tool, and if I just show it to you, you'll feel a bit more confident to use it. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Hang on, let me get it up. So I'm going to just share my screen here. So look at this. Look at who's on the screen. It's Kane. Is that showing that screen for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, look at that. Awesome, awesome. So so just to be clear how this works, I'm sure you're aware of it, and I've asked you to do this a number of times, but I'm going to say it again. So this is your main feed. It's like a Facebook feed, but it's in an internal network. The most important thing to do is you go to your portfolio, your profile. The first thing you do is you fill out your whole profile. So you explain what you do. Why not put an image up there? And you see this, you're following people and people are following you. So I'm following 34 people and 23 people are following me, which is fine, but the other people are missing out on the content that I'm sharing. And then there's an introduction. It'll tell you the courses you're involved in and things like that. So the most important thing is fill out your profile, put your links into your LinkedIn and your things. So it's just there, right? So when you're on this feed, you will get the content that you sign up to, right? So the next really important thing to do, you see this left-hand navigation here, where it says members, you click on the members tab, and you'll see that you've got all the people who are on this channel, all these people, right? And then if you hover over their profile, you'll see that there's a button that comes up saying whether you're following them or not. Now, if you don't follow a person, you don't get to see their feed, right? So it's vitally important that you make sure you follow me and Dan, but also just go down. I mean, the only people on this platform for the moment is us the mentees and the volunteers. So literally just go down, go click, 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 click. When we get new members coming in, like Kane, right? There's a button here that says, you know, newest, let's say, and you'll see that Kane has been the newest person there. So you go in and look, I'm going to follow him, right? So you stay online, and what you can see is you can see who's online at any given point, who's actually on the platform, or even better in times, who's in Winchester, who's in Southampton, who's in Basingstoke, who's in Farnborough, who's people near you. So the first task is just to go to the members tab on the left hand side and literally just go through and follow everyone, right? Number one. Number two, you see this thing called topics. So what you do is you go to the topics section and just go through and follow content, which is, you know, events or mentoring scheme, a social scare, job opportunities, success stories, employability scheme. Just tick it all, right? Because the content isn't huge enough at the moment. So inspiration and things like that. By ticking that, it means that when you are in your feed, you'll see the content that's tagged to that. When you go to events, you'll see we've got a live event on at the moment. You can sign up to future events. And I know that Rishad's been a bit caught out by this. So when you go onto the page here with events like tonight's hangout, there's a RSVP button here that is just an indication for me as to who's going to plan to turn up. So if I look at that, I can see that how many people have decided to turn up and how many people who haven't responded. But it doesn't. It's not going to send you the Zoom link. So when you see these events, you can read about the events and when it's going on. But the key thing is where it says event info, and if you actually read it, it will say click on the Eventbrite link. So when you go on, click on the Eventbrite link, it will then take you to sort of the Eventbrite. By signing up to the Eventbrite link, it will automatically send you the Zoom details prior to the call, and it helps me track the number of people in it. So RSVP is just a sort of cursory, I'm thinking of going. If you want a ticket, go to the Eventbrite link, okay? So that's sort of events, and I'll be adding more events coming up. then there are groups of specialities. So you'll see we've got 3 people who name them as copywriters, developers, digital designers. That's a nice way of categorizing, especially as we scale and grow. And then there's some groups. So in the groups that I have, there's volunteer experts, there's the mentee cohort group, there's apprenticeship group, there's experts, there's volunteers. So you want to join the mentoring group because they're going to do specific content around mentoring there. Now, the reason I want to share this with you is you see this tab that says courses, right? Are we all following this? Am I going too fast? We all good?
It's okay. No.
So in courses, you see the Ultimate Copywriting SEO course. This is the course that we're starting on Monday. So when you get into the course, bear in mind, my back end looks a bit different from yours, but you'll see that there'll be a welcome page. So you remember Catherine Strachan, she's got a video content that's going to welcome you to the course. There is this sort of general rules of engagement. It's just one signature and just type it in or just scan it or whatever it might be. It's just because Catherine just doesn't want us to kind of nick all our content, which is fair enough. But when you get into it, you know, I'll open up the first 3 modules, and you have a kind of a weekly module that you will have a sort of, so it will open up to say the introduction to SEO, and each of these modules has a video. It has a presentation you can download, and it's got some homework that you can do and some background reading. So this is perfectly manageable. This is kind of learning, bite-sized learning you can do whenever and wherever. And then there's some questions around algorithm updates. So all of these are kind of questions that you can answer for yourself. So we're not marking you, but if you want to, we can see your completed homework. You just got to go through some questionnaires. And once you do that, you get onto the next module. So the first one's about introduction to SEO. The next one is about keyword research. And then you'll get to see that video and that content. And I've uploaded enough content for, you'll see on-page SEO, you'll talk about URL, you'll get training about URL, alt tags and linking. We've got analyzing SEO performance. We've got ideation and content calendars. There's a huge wealth of content on this, and it's taken me quite a long time to upload it. But this is basically snackable content for you guys to learn. And at the end of this, Catherine's going to do a content workshop, and you're going to, learn lots about it. So as of Monday, I'm literally going to open up the first 3 modules, and anyone who wants to binge can go ahead. But if you just want to spend half an hour, a week on it, it's going to be available for the next, it's a 10-week course. And we got Catherine coming back in after 5 weeks, and she's going to ask some questions. What the beauty of this platform is that we have an activity feed. So if anyone has any questions about the content, you can effectively ask a question that's related to that content. And one person like myself or Catherine will answer it. And you'll have the chance to have chats around it. So this is like a brilliant kind of online training element to this platform. And this year, we're trialing our first one on SEO and content writing, but then we're going to be creating employability courses, we hope, if we get the right and relevant funding, on how to use LinkedIn, the world of work, how to get good at networking. Dan B is going to talk to you about how to get the best out of Adobe products. So there's going to be a whole host of amazing content online. So I really encourage you to sign up to this because it's going to be brilliant. I know I really agonized about whether we should put a cost to this, because we really want you to do this. By using this platform, we have to spend about £1,000 for a license and for aspects and things like that. So we need to recruit a little bit of that cost, but we also want to make sure we put a present in. So it would be amazing if you guys could kind of sign up to that, if only if we can just sort of make the most of the platform. But that's where you go. So if you see that, you click on the course, you sign up from there, and then it's up to you as and when you want to go for it. So I'm going to go back to the final bit of the platform to help you with this. So whenever you are writing content, so you see this plus point here, you just basically open that up. It opens up a box and you share whatever you like, and you have the ability.
Richard, I think the screen's
Yeah,
frozen for me.
Yeah, the screen's frozen.
Oh, what the?
You're still on the
We're
course
still
page.
seeing the
ultimate copywriting and SEO course page.
Oh, okay, let me just come out of that, and I'm going to come back in again. This is the final thing. Does that make a difference? Are we on Winchester Creative? Is that better?
It's still loading.
It's a black screen.
Okay. There we go. So the only thing else I was going to show you is how to basically post something. And when you post something, which I'm going to try again, it's just basically about the tagging. So let me just try one more time, and then if it doesn't work, then we're all stumped. No, it's not really showing anything. Hazel, you've tagged something before. How would you normally write a bit of content?
Give me 2 seconds. I'll jump on and share my screen.
Or can you see that screen now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you see this box here at the top?
Yep.
If you click on that box, it's taking a while. You effectively write what you like into that box. You can attach a photo, just like LinkedIn, or you can attach a movie, a video, but it has to be like a YouTube link or a Vimeo link. You can't just do a MOV file. But when you hit the embedded link, that's the link that kind of comes up that sort of, so if I was to take the Winchester Creatives sort of piece, it will basically come up as a main image. So you'll see that as the main image or whatever it might be. Or you can attach a file or create a poll. So if you're like going, so after this conversation, I might have a question, which is, which is better, Squarespace or Wix? And I want to, for portfolio sites, oh God, I can't write, portfolio sites. When I go to the drop down, I'm going to give a question, percentage or multiple choice. So if I give if I just say Squarespace and I go Wix, and then I go and maybe I add a WordPress or otherwise, but let's say I'm just going to ask one question: Squarespace or Wix, or Word or other, WordPress, etc. Right? If I post that, and I'm going to post it under a topic type, where I'm going to, let's just say, I'm just going to do a company-wide announcement for the moment. That's because most of the people are following that. If I post that, basically what will arrive is a poll that looks like that, which is better for portfolio sites, Squarespace. So if I write Squarespace, which I've what I see is the amount of people who've I've done that poll. So the one thing to mention about these comments things, you see this add topic. Whenever you're going to post something, you might have a question about employability skills or inspiration. So Ella earlier today posted something about, it could be inspiration, it could be otherwise. Or if anyone's seen job opportunities or has some thoughts that might help with everyone's mental health, or has got a good thing to help with networking opportunities, or wants to share their portfolio, you effectively just choose the right tag, and it combines the taxonomy of that content together, so we can see it all together. And you'll have seen that I've added sort of recommended reading off the back of Ella talking about books. So the reason why it's important for you to follow all topics is because I will probably publish a job role that's coming up in a business, and I will tag job opportunities. But if only 24 people are following me out of the 34 that I'm following, and you're not following the tag or me, it won't come up in your feed, right? So this is why I'm saying go to members and go to topics and follow all topics. But I really believe that if you scroll down your timeline, and if you're following everyone else's content, you would have seen some great content from Heather Ranking, from other people, from Hannah. So there's some really exciting resources all in this, but you've just got to make sure you follow the right content. That's it. Does anyone else have any questions before I finish? And I know I've killed the vibe, but we'll go back to that. Does anyone have any questions?
I think so.
Okay, back to the party. Anyway, I'm done. There we go. Music back on. How are people getting on with Mighty Networks, by the way?
Yeah, easy to use.
Good. That's the UX guy talking. So that, you know, it's a high bar to go through. Do you like the UX of it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the follow button is a bit of a weird place to put it. I mean, it's hidden, but you know, that's, you know, some feedback maybe to the higher people. But
it seems to be hidden on the desktop, but not on the mobile version, I think.
No, it's pretty easy to find on the app.
Yeah, I mean, either way, the you know, the website and app are good. Wouldn't say anything otherwise.
The other tip is you might want to if you put the Mighty Network on your mobile phone home screen, you can turn off the email alerts. So if you're getting a bit like, oh my God, I'm getting an alert because somebody's liked a post, just turn that off. I don't want people to kind of be overwhelmed by it. But now and again, you'll just see a number in the top corner and you'll see a new post. So the way I do it is now and again, you know, I would see on my home screen, okay, there are 9 things on Mighty Networks. And at some point later in the evening, I might go on, my personal preference is to work on the desktop version, or I might quickly scan on it. But yeah, where this started was Amber saying there is an app. Just download the Mighty Networks app, type in the URL, which is winchestercreatives.mn, and you will have all your content led there, and then you can kind of keep in tune. But in the meantime, Dan and I are a bit nervous because it feels like an echo chamber that we're just talking to each other, and like people are liking, but it's a bit like, oh, come on, guys, share some, just, it doesn't have to be any good, just share stuff. So, I mean, why don't you share some Bridgerton spoiler alerts or whatever, you know? We'd love it to be your platform. We paid for it. It's there for you. Share alike. I'd really encourage that.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely. Can we upload like products or tools that we can suggest to other users as well? Is there a tag for that, or is there a specific place we can put that?
Okay, I'll make it for you. So what do you want? Should we call it resources or what?
There's one called resources, so I don't know whether it's, so I use a website called Product Hunt, just to find, you know, say up to date, you know, new products that people are, say, launching themselves. And for example, this evening I was looking at something for say UX like trends, so, or UX, you know, flows. So whether that be sign-in flows or onboarding, you could then basically look through that sort of stuff. I don't know whether the resources would be a good tag. I don't know, but just something to.
Yeah, so the resources I've named, feel free to share any useful resources for our community to benefit from. Free trials to creative tools, planning resources, whatever. So I would just literally tag resources and just go, look, this is pretty cool, or you know, this is quite interesting. And you'll find a lot of people are interested in what other people are interested in. So for instance, I mean, you know, I used the tag when I found out the DNAD with the new blood have just done this amazing resource of learning. You know, I tagged that on to, I can't remember what the topic was, but I'm tagging in social share, employability skills, you know, and if you see like an awesome campaign, just tag it under inspiration and just say, look, I'm just sharing this because I think it's cool. Or if you've got a question, like Amber needs a website, you know, just put it out there. Anyone want to help Amber make a website? I do. You know, somebody could help her with some video and somebody could help her with photography. So we just don't be shy. That's what I'm saying, is that nobody's judging. This is not going outside. This is not external social media. This is just a much better UI for Slack. And I got so much Slack overload that this is why I prefer this platform.
Yeah, sure. Even I'm looking to, you know, make a website right now. So I was just looking before coming to the meeting. I mean, I was just looking what's better, Wix or Squarespace.
If you're looking for free portfolio sites, so Wix and Squarespace, you pay for generally, unless you're happy to have the ads, you know, made by Wix, made by Squarespace. I think it's about between £10 and £12 a month, something like that.
Yeah. For portfolio, I've used Adobe Portfolio, yeah, because most of my work was already on Behance, so that automatically transferred to my website, so I didn't have to, you know, upload any of the stuff.
Yeah, so Adobe Portfolio is a really good one. So Google do one as well. But if you're looking for a free portfolio site, Carbon Made have a whole load of templates, and it's literally made purely for creatives and portfolio sites. And you can go graphics or photography or whatever, or just kind of generic folio. But that's free, and I think for £6 a month you can bind your own domain. So I think the free URL will be yourname.carbonmade.com. Or you can put your own URL on there if you want for an extra bit, but that's pretty good. And I think you get kind of 10 projects and lots of images to go with that as well, which is, it should be plenty really to get started with.
So this is the great stuff, right? So this is what Hazel, can I please encourage you to, off the back of my poll, just write a few lines when you get a moment. Doesn't have to be tonight.
Richard, while you're explaining that, I just put it on there actually.
Oh, you're a legend.
I was just doing it.
See, that's what good practice is. That is like, well done, Hazel. So yeah, so share the good stuff. Like Hannah shared a jobs portal with us, and Kane shared a jobs portal with us. You know, what happens is you get distributed content in like Zoom chat functions and in emails. Let's just surface the good stuff for everyone to learn from here. So if you've got a tool that you think is great, or I've just shared Lunch Club with you. I think Hannah's signed up, and I've had 4 Lunch Club meetings this week. It's a great tool. I've just shared that. You know, where you're finding some really good stuff, just share it. That was a good share from you, Hazel. Good job. Anyone else have any questions around the Mighty Networks?
No, good on my side.
All I can think of.
I mean, I did receive the Zoom link today, Richard. I mean, I did not. I mean, I checked the email, which you said that you will get a notification 1 hour before the event, and I did check because there was no Zoom link. I don't know in any of the mails. But fortunately today, I mean, I did got the Zoom mail, so I didn't have to WhatsApp you to add me in the event.
This is what slightly drives me nuts, in a good, not in a great way. So when people just sign up to events 15 minutes before the event, what that means is I set an alert to send, you know, the link to go out an hour before the event. So when people are saying I haven't received the Zoom link, it's because it's been sent before you've actually signed up to the event. So that's why
but I signed up for that like 2 weeks back. I signed up for all the events.
I think we've got an issue with your junk mail filter because we had the same issue with Philip Guest, didn't we? So what I'm now going to do is that if I get the time, because sometimes I'm super busy coming up to these calls, finishing presentations and trying to nudge people along and send emails out, I'll make sure that I'll post in the Mighty Networks the sort of Zoom link for anybody late starters, because once an event starts, it's super tricky to kind of let people into the call, run a presentation, check your WhatsApp, check your this and that. So all I suggest is you're better off signing up for events early, and if you can't make it, it's not an issue. But if you are then chasing a Zoom link like 10 minutes before a call, well, I'm setting it up with people. We're doing some rehearsal, we're doing some technical things. So Rishab, what I'll do is keep on signing up to Eventbrite. We've obviously got a junk mail filter issue with your email stuff, and I will try to make sure that the links get onto the Mighty Network ahead of a time.
Yeah,
Okay, so I second that. In when the events come through, it's almost worth signing up to them, and then actually if you can't make it, you can't make it. So I tend to sign up to all of them, and on Wednesday, unfortunately, I overran on client calls and I couldn't make it. You know, tonight I've kind of managed to just get here in time. But it's always worth signing up to them so that you get all the details, and then also you get the reminders and things as well. So if you don't sign up, you don't get the reminder, and then often you wake up the next day and you think, oh, I missed that, because otherwise you get the reminder emails through. So it's sort of worth signing up for them regardless, because then you get the information and you're more likely to actually kind of remember that it's there as well. So.
And the other thing I've done, right, is that I've stopped creating passwords for this stuff. So it's the same link for all the events, right? So it's my mobile phone number, right? So if you ever can't get in, just go to the previous link to one of the events and you get in.
Quite a tip.
So I mean, so for me, it's easier to know that people are coming, because if I'm being really honest, one of the challenges that Hazel and I have had is we call it cat wrangling. So we spend quite a lot of our time, we want to communicate through the Mighty Network so that we reduce email stuff, because that takes a lot of time for us. But what I'm finding is that people aren't necessarily seeing it on Mighty Networks. So either myself or Hazel, we're having to send an email to you, then we're trying to send a follow-up email to you, and then do Mighty Networks. So if you've just signed up to begin with, I'm not looking at an event that's only 3 people are turning up. And what will happen is we're putting all these events on for free. It's taking quite a lot of effort. If people don't sign up to this and we spend all our time trying to chase people, we'll just do less events. So I'd really highly recommend. I've got Sabrina Chevenez is doing one, which we're now moving. It was going to be the 21st of January. She's just asked me to move that to the 9th of February. That's on strength and diversity. She's just this amazing woman. She's actually a chess champion. So if anyone have watched The Queen's Gambit, she's overcome discrimination, racial abuse, gender abuse, to basically create a really thriving agency called Complex Creative. And she's going to talk to us about strength in diversity and overcoming challenge and kind of, making a success of it despite the circumstances. So what I'll do is this weekend, I'll probably upload that. Again, it will come onto the Mighty Networks. If you want, RSVP just kind of gives me a sense of broadly, but go on to the Eventbrite link and click up. And then look, if you guys have to drop off like the day before, that's great, but it just means I don't have to chase you alongside of Hazel. That would be really helpful. That would take the admin out of it all.
Without dropping off, I'm going to have to go. I've got a birthday call at 12:30, so it was lovely chatting to you all.
Okay.
I'm glad I could make it. Sorry it wasn't from the beginning, but it was good to see you all anyway.
Cool.
See you later.
See you, Hazel.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
I'm going to have to run too, if that's all right. I've got to go
I
eat.
think we're done. So Razor Grass, well done. So we've managed to get through the week. Good luck. Keep in touch. You have my details if you have any questions. Sign up to the course if you get a moment to do so, and we'll see you at the next event.
Awesome.
See you later.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.